My name's Chris Owens. I am from Morehead, Kentucky. I have been a firefighter now for 18 years. I am married and have two kids, a 12-year-old daughter, 11-year-old son. They both keep me pretty busy. And as far as the reason I'm here is the disease that I have. I got my diagnosis last August, but have been dealing with it for 5+ years. Started off with short spells to where I'd be working or at the house and would start to feel very weak, get kind of red-faced, burning, tingling, and would then progress to vomiting and get so weak that I couldn't even get up off the floor. And after two of those spells, about 6 months apart, finally went to the ER. Barely could make it to the car to get to the ER, but by the time we drove the short 7 miles to the ER, I was on full power walking in and presented with dehydration. Didn't have anything for another 8-9 months. Had another one, went in, same thing, barely get to the car. By the time I get there, I'm all good other than just a little weak and presenting with dehydration. Had another spell the following year and was actually stationed out of southern Kentucky for 3 weeks down there during fire season. Was getting up in the morning doing my PT, went for a 1.5 mile run on the trails, got done running and actually was still a half mile from the truck, which was planned to be walked. Felt so good that I thought that I would just run out the next half mile. About a 1/4 mile down the road, I felt another spell start, so I made it onto the truck, got real ill, and that time was probably one of my worst ones. My vision got blurry, I couldn't hardly see, I was so weak. Passed out for a minute or two, and by the time we got to the office, I was coming back around and it all went away. So still thinking dehydration, not really knowing. It's just now starting. Let's get to the ER so they can see this thing while it's ramping up. Sit down on the step next to my garden tub to finish getting dressed, and that's the last thing I remember. I woke up 4:30 something the next morning, and my first question was where am I and what happened? So apparently I quit breathing, got down, my wife said I turned blue. Came back to internal medicine. We went through everything that they could possibly think of as a diagnosis, come in, do this test, here's what we think it might be. Come back, 6 weeks later, no, so that's not it. We're gonna try another one. So, just process of elimination. I understood what they were trying to do. It was just frustrating. Also, during this time, I'm going to the cardiologist, and he was going through his stuff. I done the stress test, no problems there. Just back and forth with other things, and then about that time, internal medicine says we don't really have anything else we can test for. So he referred me to Dr. Miller here, and so when I got here, I told her my symptoms. I told her what happened. She goes, I don't know what it is, but it's definitely allergy. Things kind of slowed down that winter. I had one small episode where I felt, come on, I used Benadryl, stopped it, everything good. So came back and told her. She said, well, we know we're getting somewhere. And then 2 months later, I had another small one. 2 months later, I had another one in June. She consulted with doctor at the cancer center over here, the chief hematologist. And I seen him after seeing her, and then two consulted, and that's when they came up with the disease. So then they came up with the cocktail of medicine that I'm on, all the beta-1, beta-2 blockers, and the shot series that I take, and all that stuff. So like I said, I'm right at a year now of symptom-free, per se. No spells that put me down. I do my medicines regularly. Try to do as much stuff with my kids, while I have the opportunities. Hopefully this disease won't progress much more, but we don't know. And that's, a big plus to research. I hope to see a lot more research in this field because I had never heard of such an animal until I became one. That's the best way I know to put it.